All right. Hello. I am so excited to talk to you today about one of my favorite best kept secrets. Maybe it's not a secret if you've ever been to one of my women's circles. One of the best kept secrets for running your business and stepping further into your leadership. That's super fun. And that tool is Oracle cards, and tarot cards. So, if you're new, hi, I'm Elizabeth. I am a business and mindset coach for high-level entrepreneurs that are wanting to shift from feeling like stressed out service providers who are doing all the things to actually letting go, delegating to your teams more effectively, creating structures and systems that support you, and owning your leadership. Because even though you may not feel like a real entrepreneur, you are one. And I am here to help you tap in to your own power, your value as a leader and as a business owner, and to really claim that out in the world so that you can grow your business, you can empower your team, you can serve your clients at new levels, and most importantly, you can enjoy your life and pursue your passions and really unleash your potential to create whatever's coming next for you, because I know this isn't where it stops, right? Okay, so with all of that said, let me take you through the use of Oracle cards in your business as a leadership tool, as a business growth tool. I am, as I mentioned, very excited to share this with you because I have seen over and over again how using something that is not like a practical, traditional tool for business development actually stimulates tremendous creativity, shines insight and light on ideas and inspiration that you may have already forgotten, and actually can enhance your powerful decision making really quickly and in a fun way. So if you're watching this and you're not into Oracle cards or you're not into tarot cards and you're like, why would anyone ever use this in the first place? Maybe this isn't for you. But if you have a deck laying around or you think, oh, that's kind of cool, but like I never do anything with it, I want to talk to you. So I want to take you through a few points today. I'll share just a little bit about how I got into using tarot and oracle cards, and then I'm going to talk about why these sort of like mystical woo-woo things can be really useful if you're stepping into business leadership. So there is a connection between the mystic arts, as Dr. Strange would put it, the mystic arts, and owning your leadership in the world. And so I want to talk about the connection, and I want to talk about why, when, how it makes sense to use oracle cards or tarot cards, and what the practical applications are of that, and then finally how you can use them. So to get started, briefly, I am a fan of the whole spectrum of intelligence and using all of it to grow your business, to feel really strong and empowered in your way of growing and serving and leading. The thing is, you didn't become a business owner by accident, even if it feels like an accident. You're like, how did I get here? I was just trying to sell something I was good at selling, and now suddenly I'm running a company, and oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, here's the thing. You have a brain that was built for this. If you have gotten to a point where you are serving people consistently, you're generating income, especially if you've gotten to the point of having a team that you also support and lead, then you have a brain that's built for business. And that brain is your whole brain, not just the linear, rational, mathematically oriented brain. Also your creativity and your intuition and your spiritual connection and your faith and your emotions, all of that softer stuff, the softer side of life, what we associate with being more feminine characteristics and qualities, these are critically important in you succeeding, growing your business, and ultimately living out your potential. You get to wrap your arms around all of it. I want you to wrap your arms around all of it. I do. So I come from a family of artists and corporate executives. So here we are. And I get it. I really get it that both of these things work in harmony, in tandem. And there are times and seasons for both. There are times when you're going to need to run your numbers and you're going to have really clear structures and support and logical, rational decision making. And then there are going to be times when you just need to take the lid off and you need to get your hands messy and you need to go twirl around in a field or paint a canvas and just have fun and play and get out of your head. Get out of the intellectual exercise of growth and allow yourself to just imagine what would be possible if you weren't only thinking in the traditional ways that feel buttoned up and appropriate, right? Because some of your best ideas and breakthroughs, I guarantee, did not come because you were just trying to figure it out and your intellectual, rational side had a death grip on your brain. I guarantee that is not the only place you have generated insights, money-making ideas, new ways of working, all the stuff that we need to make business work, to lead with greater ease and flow, to make more space in our lives, to do things that aren't work. All of that stuff depends on both sides of your brain. And I got into using oracle cards and tarot cards not for business reasons at all, because I grew up watching the X-Files. Don't know if you've ever seen the X-Files, but I was super into this idea that, Mulder and Scully, the main characters on the show, one is the scientific skeptic and one is this highly intelligent, but also deeply paranormal invested believer in what we cannot see. And I just loved this. I loved the idea that there is more to life than meets the eye, that there is a world we cannot see that goes beyond our comprehension. And I think both scientists and mystics agree that we in our limited thinking and way of seeing the world don't get it all. We don't get everything. We don't see everything from the little silo of our head and our little desk. And when we're sitting here typing, life is this tremendous flow that's happening outside our window, outside our office, and through us as well, but it is not limited to what we can see and what we know to be true. So I got into using oracle cards and tarot cards because, a past client gave me a deck years ago, and it was cute. It was like a little deck with these fun little motivational sayings on it, and I just thought it was how fun is this? Having a bad day, pull a card. It was almost like pulling a greeting card, and it would say something like, resilience, climbing the mountain's tough, but you're tougher, go punch a pillow if you need to. And I'm yeah, that's right. I just liked that. I liked having sort of something I could grab onto as a little motivational pick-me-up. And then at some point, I was given another deck of tarot cards, and from a friend. I'd never owned tarot cards before, so she gave me this Mystic Mondays Tarot, which is bright and colorful and lovely. I am bright and colorful and lovely, so it was a great fit for me. It was pretty. I didn't really know how to use it, but I was you know what? I like the idea of just pulling a card and seeing what the message is, right? And so that's all I'd be using it for, just for fun. And the more I used it, the more I began to sort of get creative in how I was using it and why I was using it. And because I spend so much time thinking about business and supporting business owners, my business, myself as a business owner, my clients as business owners, their businesses, naturally I was how can I use this for business? What's here for me in this, given that so much of what we have to do is think differently and more expansively? How can we use cards to do that, to get a higher perspective, to see what we're missing, to notice our blind spots, to reflect back to us the things we can't see? And that is why I love using oracle cards and tarot cards in business, especially if you're in leadership, because at the end of the day, all these cards are let me literally show you what a card is here. Yeah. Okay, here's a justice, the justice card. So in the tarot deck, Justice is it's the same cards everywhere. Justice is the scales, right? And it means something. It means something. When you see this, you think, okay, you think balance, you think fairness, you think rightness. If you look at the actual meaning of this card in the little booklet that comes with the deck, it will give you a description of what this means in greater detail. And I happen to like the Mystic Mondays deck because it's also framed in a very personal development centric way. So it'll say, oh, you know, something in your life needs rebalancing, for example. And that's like not a hard insight to gather if you've pulled this card, right? Right. So here's where I want to talk about the connection between the mystic arts and business leadership. Being a leader in business simply means that you need to be willing to go first. And so if you are willing to go first, it means you're going to do something you've never done before, or maybe the world has not seen before. And if you are doing something just because you're inspired to do it, even though it's never happened before, you have to trust your own inner wisdom and your own inner guidance. And this is the thing I work on the most with my clients, because we are taught to distrust ourselves. We're taught, especially if we're unconventional, especially if we're women identifying, especially if we're marginalized in any way, we're taught that we are not the sources of success and wisdom in this society. And so we have to relearn, we have to unlearn the conditioning that we don't know what we're doing, and we have to relearn the truth that we do know what we're doing. And what cards like this can do is actually give you something to bounce your own psyche off of. So like I pick this up, especially if I've asked a question first, like, what do I need to focus on today? For example, you pull up a card like this and it says balance. Well, I can immediately think, is there something I'm feeling imbalanced about? And it's going to kick up all of these ideas for me, like maybe I need to spend more time with my kids. Maybe I need to look at my finances and make sure see where my like cash flow's at, right? Maybe I need to just be more balanced in my on-stage activities versus my off-stage. Like this opens up a whole world of thinking that I may not have necessarily been thinking about before. That's a very practical application of something like this. And it enhances your leadership because it teaches you to think for yourself, but think differently than you were thinking before. And when you're thinking along this like somewhat random line of balance, for example, I wasn't thinking balance before now, but now I am, it teaches you to pay attention to what feels true inside of you, what feels right, what feels aligned, where do I want to lean in, what do I want to say no thanks. So it's not like if you pull a card that this means this is what your future is about and you have to focus here. If you don't like it, you just set it aside and you say, forget it. But if you love it, or if it strikes a chord in you, then you can say, what does this mean to me? Where do I want to focus? It's a way of bouncing back, holding up a mirror to your own thinking and injecting some creative spontaneity to expand your thinking. And from there, you strengthen this skill of trusting yourself and trusting the way that you think. So it makes sense. I said that's why it makes sense to use oracle cards as part of your leadership process and your growth process. When it makes sense is, personally, my favorite is when you have a decision that you need to make, or you're just wanting some other outside perspective and insight. So I'm a coach and I work with coaches. I hire coaches. I pay coaches because it is so valuable to get outside perspective on the work that I'm trying to do. And so this is just an easy, quick way you can grab something to give you outside perspective that you can keep or dismiss as you choose. This is the King of Swords. It's all about logic, intellect, rational thinking, and leading with the mind. I do a lot of mind work. I'm literally a mindset coach. I help my clients get more confident in their minds and trust themselves more and make powerful decisions that take long-term consideration for their company growth and their own health and their vision and all that stuff, right? The mind is very important in our functioning and in our business growth. And so these cards are great to use if you find yourself turning in circles in your mind. You can sort of break out of that rut by saying, you know what? Let me inject some freshness and some creativity. If you're turning a question over and over in your mind, you know what? Stop trying to think your way out of your own brain. You're not going to do it. So do yourself a favor and actually pull something like this. If you don't have a coach on call, or even if you do, pull a card and see what the card shows you and how it can shine some fresh light or insight on what you were already thinking about. So I've talked a bit about how you can use oracle cards to strengthen your leadership. And the last thing I want to talk about is how you can use them to actually grow your business. So basically, business growth happens in a couple of ways, right? It comes from serving clients better. It comes from reaching new clients. It comes from streamlining your systems, and it comes from developing yourself. And I'm sure there's more, but that's just top of mind, right? Like service to clients, service to self, service to team. It's this like service world that you're working in. And so you can use your oracle cards to think differently about how you are serving yourself, to ask the question, am I serving myself today? If you don't have an immediate answer, and we usually don't because we've been conditioned to not think about our own needs, then you can use oracle cards to reflect on what you might need. Check this out. Maybe I need some meditation. Or to think differently about how you can serve your clients, or to think differently about how you can serve your team. There are a million ways to use oracle cards to reflect back on your own thinking. And the last thing I want to offer you is this. If you have a spiritual practice, if you have any kind of connection or feeling to the divine, to the universe, to God, whatever you call it, then you can also use oracle cards as a way of tapping into that. Much like meditation, cards can be, you can set an intention before you pull a card that what is shown to you, it's shown to you from the perspective of divine intelligence, that it is shown to you from your higher self, that it shines a light on something that you want to see, not just from outside of yourself, but from outside of yourself with the support of whatever divine factors really move you. You can ask for spirit to come in and show you things. And again, if it doesn't resonate for you, and that's what this card is about, if it doesn't resonate for you, you can set it aside. You don't have to drink out of every cup. But if it does resonate for you, then run with it, because why not? This is all about enhancing your creative thinking skills. This is all about getting new perspective. And honestly, it's about having fun. You can go deep on this stuff. You can learn about different archetypes and colors. You can see what images strike you. You can see how the words speak to you. You can make meaning out of all of this stuff and then make meaning for yourself. Turn that around and translate it into better self-care, better service support to your clients, more inventive ways of forecasting and moving into the future, and really the world is your oyster. So I actually come up with, I'm a big fan of inventing ways to use oracle cards, like specific questions you can ask and ways you can create spreads. Like if you pull multiple cards, that's called a spread. And so you can ask different cards different questions. Like I want to see 3 cards. The first card, I want to know what's blocking me. Second card, I want to know like what's my opportunity. Third card, I want to know like what's the next step I can take. So you go 3 cards like that. You make meaning out of that. Super fun way to like add some mystical magic to your day if you're wanting that, or your week if you're planning, or even your year if you're going big. So come hang out with me on Instagram if you want to connect to some of those spreads, if you want to check them out, or sign up for my email list. And please comment below. Let me know if this resonates for you. I would love to hear if you use oracle cards already, if you have a practice of using tarot cards, if this is your first rodeo, and I will see you next time.